Hello everyone, I am the owner of NoDQ.com. I'm a man once referred to as the king of internet media. I'm a man you all once referred to as the innovator of extreme. I'm a man you all once referred to as Noah Donish. But from this day forward, I request, check that, I direct and demand that each and every one of you refer to me as Mr. Donish. I'm a man of respect. I'm a man of large sums of money. Now that I have in my control the largest website in the history of the internet related to professional wrestling. The website that Vince McMahon himself has tried to shut down on multiple occasions. I own. I have complete control in the palm of my hand. I can do whatever I want with it. The B show of NoDQ.com, because of course the A show is always XTV. The B show of NoDQ.com, Talk Wrestling, the host of that show, Jeff Meacham, has decided to quit. And as much as I hate Jeff Meacham from a personal standpoint, from a business standpoint, that's cost me a lot of money, and that pisses me off. So I'm here to make you an offer. I will allow Jeff Meacham until our SummerSlam confrontation to have complete creative control of his brand on one, now make that 2 or 3 conditions. And those conditions are this. Jeff, I am sick and fucking tired of you showing up to work looking like a fat slob piece of white trash. What I mean by that is I'm tired of you showing up to work wearing these pitted out t-shirts. I'm tired of you showing up to work with this beard that is just crawling with crabs, pubic lice, whatever you want to call them. I'm tired of it. I'm sick and utterly tired of it. So, from this point forward, Jeff, I'm offering you your job back, and I'm offering you complete creative control. If you groom, if you shower, if you wear a suit. I'm coming for you, Jeff, and I'm gonna eat you alive. Ugh.
Yes, I have returned to my seat. Begrudgingly, but I'm here. This is episode 72 of Talk Wrestling here on the premier website in the wrestling world, NoDQ.com, owned by the man who has asked me to inform you he doesn't want you guys calling him gay. He's not gay. Noah Donish, my new boss. Yay, Noah. Yay. The show is also on youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Our MySpace is still active. Apparently it's going to be on Aaron's Facebook still, even though it's Noah's. I think Noah should post it on his Facebook since it's his show now, right? Just saying. Kind of a controversial end to the show last week. I apologize for walking out. That was very rude of me to walk out on the show and on you guys. But I did. I literally left my own house for a brief moment, and then I kicked Aaron out the property. This is the first time I've spoken to Aaron since he left the property last week, and he and I had a long conversation on the phone this morning, saying Noah has informed me that I have complete creative control over the show itself. So I decided, okay, if I have that, then I'm okay with doing the show. Noah's just gonna own the website, and he's asked me to dress nicer. Apparently, I don't dress nice enough. Apparently, my wrestling T-shirts and my hockey shirts aren't up to par with his vision of NoDQ.com. So I decided to dress a little nicer, and at his request, of course. So anyway, we've got 10 questions. No VRQ this week. Wasn't a really good one. I didn't see one. So let's get to your questions right now. This is from Kevin Brassard. Hey Jeff, love the show. Here's my question. What do you think the wrestling world would be like right now if WCW put the WWF out of business and ECW was still alive, not the extremely crappy wrestling brand Vince has now? Please answer my question on the show. That would totally reek of awesomeness. Thanks, keep up the good work. Well, get ready to reek, dude. You know, I get very similar questions to this all the time. You know, what if this happened? What if that happened? It's very hard to say. I think if WCW had stayed in business the way it was, and WWE got put out of business back then, I think that we'd have a much worse off wrestling business, because WCW was going downhill at the time they were overtaking the WWF then. And I think WCW, if they continued on the path they were on, which they were, would have gone under themselves anyway, and we would have no wrestling business because WWE and WCW would both be gone. And ECW would be an indie. It wouldn't be the top brand that it became had it not been for both companies still being around and having ECW to compete with them. So I think that had WCW won the war when it was hot, I think the wrestling business would be drastically different. We wouldn't have this show, for one. We wouldn't have a wrestling business mainstream to talk about now. I firmly believe that. This is from Clint Plutz, a.k.a. Papa Guru 4000. I was wondering if you were as tired as I am of wrestling fans complaining about and tearing down each other's opinions. What happened to just being a fan and appreciating the product for what it is, entertainment? I'm not a fan of every wrestler, but man, it seems everyone started being critics and stopped being fans. Well, I don't know if this is a shot at me or not, to be honest with you. The fans do tear down my opinions, and I guess I'm guilty of it too. I guess I tear down people's opinions when they send them in to me. Everybody is a critic, though, when it comes to entertainment in general, not just wrestling, but any form of entertainment or sports for that matter. You'll see the guys, the armchair coaches talk about football and baseball and hockey and soccer and all those other sports. It's no different with wrestling, entertainment-wise. People will constantly criticize wrestling for what they choose to do, what they choose to present, what Vince chooses to do, what Dixie and Jeff choose to do. Oh, speaking of Dixie and Jeff, I'll finish answering this question, then I'll get to that. People will honestly and constantly tear each other down, and that's just the way this business is. It's just the way any form of entertainment is. That people are out to get everybody else. They want to put themselves on the higher plateau. Dixie Carter and Jeff Jarrett apparently had some sort of scenario go on behind the scenes. Jarrett was not at Victory Road this last Sunday. Jarrett was apparently sent home by Dixie. And this is all speculation and rumor, but this is what I got off NoDQ.com. Remember, this is Noah's site I'm getting this off of now. Apparently Jeff is involved with Karen Angle. Interesting. And Kurt threw a hissy fit and threatened to quit unless he got creative control over his character, I guess. And I guess Jeff was sent home as a result, and it's the first time he's missed a pay-per-view in I don't know how long, if ever. But that's rumor that he's been suspended from his own company. TNA's got drama going on right now. Very fun, very interesting. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in the bowels of the TNA Impact Zone, whether Jeff Jarrett will return in the near future or not. This one's from Charles Tarkington. Hey Jeff, I was wondering what are your thoughts about the Necro Butcher? I happen to like Necro. He's a nice guy, really. When it comes to talking to him outside the ring, he's a very chill guy. He smokes a lot of weed. He's very chill. When you get him between the ropes and in the arenas and in the VFWs and everything he does, he's nuts. But that's just the nature of hardcore wrestling and violent wrestling. That's just the way he is. He is the epitome of deathmatch wrestling. And he does what he does very well. He's not the best technical wrestler in the world, let's be honest. He's not the best, pound for pound, not the best fighter in the world, but he will tear you up, he will beat you up, and he will use any kind of weapons he can get his hands on. And he will punch you in the face. He's got a great punch. But he's not the most sound guy, let's be honest. But he is a hell of a guy. He's a very nice guy outside of the ring, and he's very chill from what I've observed of him, what I've interacted with him. Very nice guy, but I wouldn't invite him over for dinner or anything. He's a little nuts. This one is from Jonathan Coburger. What is your favorite heel turn of all time, and what is your least favorite babyface turn of all time? I like that. That's a good question. My favorite heel turn of all time probably has to be Hogan when he joined the NWO in 1996. That went over so well. It got so much publicity and so much heat, immediate heat from the wrestling fans. The fact that he turned on his precious Hulkamaniacs, including me apparently, even though I still was cheering him. I loved it. I loved that whole scenario with him joining up with the Outsiders and being a bad guy for the first time in a long, long time. I enjoyed it thoroughly. My least favorite babyface turn of all time was Shawn Michaels in 1995. He had a great match with Nash Diesel at WrestleMania 11 that year. And the next night on Raw, Sid powerbombed him 3 times because Sid got angry. And Michaels came back and he was a babyface. Vince turned him babyface, and he didn't want to. And I can see why. The whole the first Michaels babyface run was very hard on Shawn Michaels. It was, they ran him into the ground essentially, and it wasn't well constructed. I didn't think. When he came back after his hiatus after 4 years and was babyface, then that was cool. I liked that. But the original babyface run of Shawn Michaels between 95 and like 97. I didn't like that very much at all. This is from Dreadful Entertainment. Are there any updates on Marcus Corvan / Monty Brown? I thought I remember reading a while ago he was possibly coming back to WWE soon, but I've not heard anything about him in a while. Thanks, keep up the great show. Last I heard of Monty Brown, according to this, he wrestled after a year and a half of being away from WWE on May 8th. For the Universal Wrestling Alliance. He's a guest referee, and he pounced somebody at the next show after that at Professional Championship Wrestling. He pounced the owner of the company, which was awesome. That's all I've seen and heard of since. There hasn't been really any big to-do about him going back to WWE or to TNA. Apparently he's gone from the scene, probably for good. I don't think either company's going to sign him back, to be honest with you. I don't think either company sees a reason to. I don't think that I don't think there's any reason to sign him back. I think WWE and TNA are doing just fine without Monty Brown or Marcus Corvan or whatever you want to call him. He was a fun guy to watch in TNA. I think WWE kind of killed him when they put him with the New Breed, and I think he was destined to fail. And that's not what they did. WWE had him fail. This is from Philip Spruner. What are your opinions on backyard wrestlers in regards to the way the business is currently with the wellness policy and smaller guys getting a break? What future do you see backyard wrestlers having in the pro wrestling world? M-Dog 20 and Josh Prohibition have pretty decent careers going for them right now. Hornswoggle and the Hardys have phenomenal careers. Do you think the backyards will get treated differently than everyone else when they get trained because of their past? Do you think trainers will look down on yarders and keep them down out of spite or bitterness? I happen to know quite a few yarders, as a matter of fact, and they are looked down upon. by the, quote, real wrestlers. The guys that went through the training, and the guys that, you know, went through training for years and have been on the circuit for years, and they are, compared to the yarders, they have much more experience. If you really want to be technical about it, in terms of the company I work for, I am a, quote, backyarder. I worked for a backyard company very briefly when I was in high school, and I have no training whatsoever, and I've been given an opportunity by Epic War to perform for them in a managerial and a speaking capacity, even though I got hurt. It's not supposed to happen. It happened. But when you're not trained, bad things can happen. You can get hurt very easily, and I'm living proof of that. So I think the yarders need to understand that they need to go to training, and I think that they need to get themselves properly schooled, and whether they're looked down upon or not by the trainers is relevant, because I think that once you sign yourself up for the wrestling school, you're in the same boat as everybody else, whether you performed as a backyarder or not. I think that you just go to the training and give it everything you've got and hope for the best. I don't think that you'll be looked down upon more because you know, broke your light tube over somebody else's head in your parents' backyard or something. I think that's just, you know, kids being kids and, you know, dumb being dumb. It's, you know, people grow up, people change. This is from Ashton Green. Hey Jeff, I'm a huge fan of both Talk Wrestling and Epic War. I was trying to get info on artoverlifestudios.com about the DVDs for Epic War because I live in Texas and I'm a huge fan. I was trying to order some DVDs. I'm having trouble finding info about them. Just wondering if you could help me out. From what I understand, and Gary will probably correct me if I'm wrong about this because that's how Gary App is, but anything will help me out, I'm sure. epicprowrestlingwar.blogspot.com is where you'll find current Epic War stuff. And then if you scroll down on the right-hand side of the page, you'll see the show flyers, the show posters, the DVD covers. On the right-hand side, I think if you right-click and open them up in a new window, or just click on them, they'll open up a new window, or even the same window, they'll open it up. I think you can order the DVDs from there. I don't think they're all available right now. I think some of them are backstocked, but I think most of them are available for order through an outside source now. Gary kind of made a deal with, I guess, an outside source to sell his DVDs, so I think they're available now through order on epicprowrestlingwar.blogspot.com. This is from Zach Bonner. A while ago, I believe, Human Tornado lost his Pro Wrestling Guerrilla World Championship to El Generico. After that match, he started to abuse his manager, the beautiful and talented Candice LeRae. Candice eventually betrayed Tornado and joined up with Chris Hero. What were your thoughts on the storyline abuse of Candice LeRae? I myself thought it was sickening and uncalled for, but that was just how I was raised. By the way, I know it's not real, and I'm sorry for such a long question. Not a long question at all. Don't worry about that, Zach. I was at PWG for most of that story, and it's seeing that storyline develop, and being somebody that has the background that I do, you would think that, you know, whatever, but I was pretty much appalled by it. It was pretty disgusting to watch. Excuse me. I'm trying to sneeze. It hurts to sneeze. You know, it worked. It got Tornado instant heat. It got Tornado instant credibility as a bully and as a punk. But they could have done it in a lot of different ways. I think the abuse of the woman was kind of over the top. But you know what? Sadly, that's how, you know, Tornado sees himself as a pimp. You know, the character, and I think that's, you know, that's a lot of pimps are that way, or at least they were. I don't know how they are now, but treated their women like that. That's just the way it was. That's just the way it is. But it could have been done a few different ways. I myself was personally pretty sickened by it. It was pretty disgusting to watch. Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you, Zach. This is from WWE JTH. If you could change anything, whether it be one moment or one match or whatever in wrestling history, and book it the way you would have liked to have seen it happen, what would you change and why? That's a whole show in itself, isn't it? Damn. I should have looked this over before I opened it up. If I could change one thing in wrestling history, honestly, it would be me leaving Epic War the first time. It would. The way I left the company and went to High Division Championship Wrestling and later Pro Wrestling Uprising didn't work out for me at all, and I later became estranged from Epic War as a company, and I was gone for a long time. And I'm loving being back now. I hated the fact that I missed the 4th of July shows because I was hurt, and it sucked being away again. So if I could change one thing in wrestling ever, it would be me allowing myself to leave Epic War the first time and staying with the company and sticking with it, and being in a better position to be being in a better spot than I am now. Luke wants to know what's Kid Kash been up to. I haven't seen him since One Night Stand, whatever it was, 05 or 06. Well, he was at One Night Stand 05. He did that big jump out of the ring into the entire crowd of people in the aisleway. But after that, he got signed by WWE and was Cruiserweight Champion for a while, and if you recall. And he was also teamed up with Jamie Noble as the Pitbulls, the new Pitbulls. He was there for a while. And then he left, and he's made some appearances in indie wrestling in the United Kingdom and Ireland and Britain, and he also performed in mixed martial arts in Kentucky. The one match I see on here on the page I'm looking at was in March of 08. He lost in 4 minutes 11 seconds of the second round of a fight against Brian Brown, I guess. That's the last I've heard of Kash, was that mixed martial arts fight a year and a half ago. I don't know what he's doing since, though. Couldn't tell you. Alright, that's going to do it for episode 72 of Talk Wrestling. Thank you all for watching. If you are out there still watching, I know it was hard today after the controversial last couple of postings I've made on the MySpace and we've made on the internet. But fear not. I'm in control of the show. Yes, I'm dressed a little nicer, but it's still the same Talk Wrestling. Don't worry. We're going to continue on, even with the king of internet media himself, the World Wide Web's own Noah Donish, owning NoDQ.com. We will continue on. We will persevere. Persevere. Check us out on MySpace. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. The website, of course, NoDQ.com, and on YouTube. And we will see you for episode 73 of Talk Wrestling. Goodbye for 72.